Hey, it's Chris from The Chris Stefanic Show, where we dive into how to live a more joyful life every day in your everyday life, the kind of life that God dreams of for you. Check it out.
The rules of discernment, and I know we'll dive into some of them. Can't get to all of them. You need to. We're going to leave you with all his stuff. Okay. There's the reason I knew his voice so well when he walked in the doors because I've listened to it all. I'm going to tell you where to get all of it, so you can listen to all these rules for discernment. Totally worth your time. What kind of decisions do these things apply to? What do they not apply to? I mean, I know Catholics who have taken it so far that it's like, okay, Lord, what movie do you want me to watch tonight? And I'm genuinely wondering, like, does the Lord care what movie you watch tonight? Like, you're gonna stop and discern that? You know, tuna fish or bologna? Like, I don't, you know, like, the Lord, I don't think the Lord cares if you have tuna fish or bologna, right? But where's the line here where you say it's worth stopping and not just following my gut, but check in with the Lord. What do you want? How do I figure it out?
So St. Francis de Sales, who is basically Ignatian, addresses that very question. Here's one way to say it. If the discernment takes longer than the actual thing you're discerning, then you don't need to discern it that way. Okay.
De Sales said that? I love the wisdom of saints. It's so simple and clear.
That's my summary of what he says. Yeah. And what I would say is this. Let's say that let's say that you've promised to spend time with a friend this evening after work, you know, who really needs you, going through something difficult in his life. And then at work, the boss approached you during the day and said, look, we're really under pressure to get this done. I'm sorry to ask this of you, but could you spend the evening, get this done so that tomorrow morning we can go ahead with it? And now you're driving home and you just want to do the Lord's will. You've got a friend who needs you and you've got a request from the boss. Okay, what do you do in this case? So what you do is, even while you're driving, maybe you've got 15 minutes before you get home, lift your heart in prayer to the Lord. Ask the Lord for guidance. Review the factors involved in the one choice and the other. How important is it that I be there tonight with my friend? You know, could that wait till tomorrow evening, or is it really important now? How much pressure is there really on this project? Is there another? You review the factors involved. You make your best decision. Doesn't mean it's going to be the perfect decision. You make your best decision. God never asks more than our best. That's another principle. Once you've made it, follow it through with peace. Don't keep agonizing over this. Should I think? Yeah. You've made your best decision, pursue it. And then if you want to be Ignatian about it, review it afterwards and learn from it so that another time. Now, what I'm describing there, prayer, review, choice, execution, and you know, examining the thing afterwards, it's really just a way of describing what St. Thomas would call the exercise of the supernatural virtue of prudence. Now, and that's not complicated. It doesn't, you don't have to go off to a retreat house for this and so on. And we're doing this all day long. Now, what would happen if we started to live our lives like that? You know, Paul says Jesus is Lord. Amen. If we live like this, Jesus will really be Lord of our lives, and not abstractly, but very concrete. I'll just give you one more example. So I have finished saying the morning Mass in the parish, and let's say it's about 9 o'clock now, and there's a meeting at 9 o'clock in the parish office, and they're waiting for me to come. As I'm walking across the parking lot to the parish rectory offices, a woman approaches me and says, Father, I really need to speak to you. Could I speak to you? Okay, what do I do? Yeah. You know, is it the Lord's will that I go to the meeting? They're waiting for me. This woman has a need. And if you live this way, you can get so that you're doing those 5 steps that I just said, but it's very simple. You know, you're just looking at it, you see where the greater need is, you make your choice, you pursue it, later on you review it. Yeah, sure, we have some time now. Or if I know the person and I know that the person doesn't really need me that urgently right now and they really do need, okay, so that's how Jesus is Lord.
You're checking with him on these relatively little things, and that makes him Lord of your life. Just asking him to be, Lord, help me glorify you in this moment, in this decision. And give yourself the time, instead of just being reactive. So often we go through life with all these urgent things pressing in on us, and we're just reactive. It's like playing racquetball with your day.
You know, a woman said to me after we went through this teaching, she said, before, exactly as you've said, before I was reacting, now I'm responding. There's a big difference.
We think, I don't have time to respond or think through it. It's like, you know how much time you waste
Well,
when you don't reflect?
yeah, now discernment is not isolated in the spiritual life. Discernment is only possible because discernment is essentially a relationship with God. Discernment is only possible where there's a life of prayer. Now, that life of prayer has to be filtered through, the nuances of one's vocation. A mother with 3 young children is in a different situation from a woman whose children are all, married and on their own. But we've got to pray. I remember a woman came to me once and wanted help with discernment. And I just asked her, about her prayer. And there really wasn't too much formal prayer. And so I asked her, would you be willing to spend 20 minutes a day in prayer? But then we had something to work with. So prayer and the life of the sacraments, all of that's the substratum which permits.
Did you like that clip? Be sure to click subscribe so you never miss out on our great content that's going to help you live life to the full.